Hello and welcome to AWS Certified Solution Architect course. In this video, we will see some practical scenarios of EC2 Elastic Compute Cloud, and we will launch one instance and we will discuss all the components of launching an instance. So let's start with EC2. Now, as you can see, in resources tab we have 0 instances, and there's one snapshot, 10 security groups, 2 key pairs. So all these things, whichever number we are getting apart from 0, all these are created earlier. So let's forget that. We will create our new instance and we will discuss all the features and parameters of the instance. So I will click on launch instance. Now we have to select the image from which image we want to deploy the server. So images are nothing but template with pre-configured OS and in some cases other applications as well. So there are multiple types of images like my AMIs. If I have created an AMI, it will be visible here. See, it's showing my demo Linux image. Now AWS Marketplace, that is where if somebody has created their customized AMI image, they can sell it here at AWS Marketplace. Communities AMI, that is prepared by AWS itself, so we can just go for communities AMI, and that too we can filter the type of AMI by using this left panel, what OS we want, architecture and root device type, so we can filter that as well. However, in this case I will go with the free tier. AMI, and I will launch a Windows instance. So we have Amazon, Linux, Red Hat, SUSE, Ubuntu, Windows 2012 free tier. So I will launch Windows Server 2012 free tier. Now, as we discussed, we have family types and generation. So here, as we discussed in earlier video, that we have general purpose, compute optimized, memory optimized, storage optimized, and the generations to select. However, in this case, we will just go with general purpose T2 micro, that is free tier, and we will select that. And the storage type, it is ABS volume. It has one vCPU, one memory, and it support IPv6, so it's good to go. We'll go to next configuration detail. Now here, how many number of instances we want? So we are launching only one instance, so I will keep it simple as one. Request spot instances. So if we want to do bidding of instance, we can do it from here. We can just check this box and we can do bidding of this particular type of instance. Now the network. So we have a single VPC, that is our default VPC, so it's already selected here. Apart from that, we can select subnet, whatever subnet we want to launch our instance in, and this option auto assign public IP. So when we launch an instance, it will have a private IP, that is for sure. But if we want a public IP to be attached to that instance, we have to enable this setting, auto assign public IP. So if we enable it, it will assign a public IP and public DNS to the instance so that we can reach out to that instance from internet. So it's we can say use subnet setting, that is enabled, so that is also fine, or we can explicitly enable it. Now role, IAM role are, as we discussed earlier in IAM features, role are just access token, access mechanism, which can be embedded with the resource or a user or group. So if we have any role and we want to give that particular access to this instance, we can attach that role here, but in this scenario we don't need it. Shutdown behavior. Now the shutdown behavior is what do we want. If we shut down server, it should be stopped or terminated. So we will go with stop. Now enable termination protection, protect against accidental termination. So if we want, if it's a very critical server, we can check this option so that whenever somebody is deleting it, it will give a warning it can't be deleted since it's protected. So in that case, if we really want to delete, we have to uncheck this option and then we can delete. So let's not check it for now. Monitoring. So by default, basic monitoring is enabled where we have CPU and storage and transactions, all these things will be monitored, but and that monitoring will take place every 5 minutes. But if we want to enable detailed monitoring, that the frequency of the monitoring will be every minute. So but the detailed monitoring will add additional cost, so we are not doing it here. We will go with basic monitoring. Tenancy. So if you want your instance to run on a dedicated host, you can go for dedicated host. Otherwise, the shared is the by default option you can select. Now, network interfaces. If you want to assign any primary IP or secondary IP, you can do it here. Otherwise, AWS will do the job for you. It will give any primary IP from that subnet range. Now let's see advanced details. So here we can embed some script, like since it's a Windows server, we can embed some script like PowerShell, and the format will be like this. In between these two quotes we can put the script, and the script will be executed when the server will run, server will be launched. So let's not do this right now because we don't want any additional things to happen. We just want to launch one instance. So next configuration is adding storage. Now since we see that by default there's a storage volume of 30 GB, that you can say your C drive of the Windows server is already there, and it's a general purpose volume. We can go for magnetic as well as provisioned IOPS. However, that is not required since magnetic is for, it will lower the performance. It's basically to store the flat files and to infrequently access the resources data from that magnetic storage. However, general purpose is for most of the users, and provisioned is for database servers where the transactions are very frequent and are highly provisioned storage for that. So we don't need provisioned and magnetic here. We'll go with general purpose, and the device root will be stored at devs sd /dev/sda1, and here we see the general purpose IOPS is 100. For if we see provision, it's 1500. If we see magnetic, it's not available because they don't know how it's going to perform.